Hi, my name is Hayden. I'm based in Townsville, Queensland, Australia. I'm currently undertaking a Bachelor of Global Logistics and Maritime Management. My presentation today will last for approximately 10 minutes. If English is not your first language or you find it hard to understand me, please feel free to enable subtitles or closed captions by clicking on the button below. If you have a visual impairment, I'm a pale-skinned male with light brown hair. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Communication and employee engagement. My job today is to facilitate a discussion regarding communication and employee engagement, which will allow you to leave asking yourself, am I communicating well and how can I engage with others better for greater outcomes? What is communication? The Oxford Dictionary defines communication as the transmission or exchange of information, knowledge, or ideas by means of speech, writing, mechanical, or electronic media. I like to use the definition that communication is the art of exchanging ideas, facts, information from one entity to another. That allows for the different types of communication, such as verbal, how I'm talking to you right now in English, but it also encompasses tone, and we also have non-verbal. Things like body language, openness, really important stuff in the workplace, especially to break down barriers in a multicultural environment. How do we communicate in the workplace? Is it email, phone, text messaging? Please let me know in the comments below some of the different ways you communicate within the workplace. And then who do we communicate with? Is it our managers? Is it our subordinates? Is it our peers? Is it family members? So leave a comment below. We want to hear who you're communicating with and how you do it in the workplace. So let's use the Osgood-Schramm model of communication. It fits well in a multicultural setting. That communication is circular, not linear. Communication is usually equal and reciprocal. Messages require interpretation. There are 3 steps for communicating, and that is the encoding, decoding, and interpreting. So next we've just got a quick diagram of that model. The one circle on the left is an entity or a person, and the circle on the right is an entity or person as well. As you see the arrows there, it's in a constant loop, so that's the feedback coming back. And that overlapping field of experience is identifying whether someone has the message or not. It's like I can see by their actions or what they're saying that they are getting the message that I'm sending them. Okay. Now it's a pretty bland diagram, but if we move on to this image here, I think it explains it well. We've got information in a circular motion there, just passing from one person to another. And that just keeps going around and around and around, and that's at the base, as you can see, for the road to success ahead. Okay, so it's a great little imagery for the workplace. Is our communication effective? Do you understand me? Are we moving in the same direction as a team? Was my email poorly worded? Workplaces in Australia are quite often melting pots of different cultures, and that's how misunderstandings can occur. What is a culture? Not just people of different nationalities, but people with different perspectives and backgrounds. Things like, I've never heard that word before. I didn't want to tell them because they've been here longer than me. I know personally I've had to help people read emails from corporate just to help them get through their role a bit better. So we've got poor and better communication. Here's a quick thing about poor communication. Sender attacks receiver. That's when we start to switch off. The receiver doesn't listen to sender, obviously. One or both parties are distracted. There may be something on the screen. Message is ambiguous. One or both parties are emotional. These are situations where communication doesn't occur. I use the term better communication because we can always get better at communicating with people, by being neutral or positive towards the receiver, listening effectively. Both parties are present and paying attention. The message is clear and direct, and emotions are kept in check. All really important stuff in the workplace. And this is what happens when we communicate effectively. There's team building, everyone gets a voice, innovation, growth, and strong leadership are present. This is a great quote. I don't like to jam the screen up too much with words, but there is a relationship between effective communication and job satisfaction that needs to be of a greater importance for organizations to achieve a higher success. So let's just look at that. Effective communication leads to great success. And I think that's really important leading into the relationship we have between communication and engagement. Employee engagement. Do we feel like a passenger in the workplace? Insignificant, not part of the solution for the organization? According to the Gallup's State of Global Workplace report, worldwide employee engagement is only at 15%. So that's quite low. People want purpose and meaning from their work. They want to be known for what makes them unique. This is what drives employee engagement. Enthusiasm, connection, motivation, retention, performance. These are all the things that employee engagement builds on. Okay. Employee engagement represents the levels of enthusiasm and connection employees have with their organization. It is a measure of how motivated people are to put in the extra effort for their organization and a sign of how committed they are to stay there. We can look at different models of employee engagement. A Deloitte model is really good for multicultural settings. Deloitte model tries to create a simply irresistible organization. There's 5 core elements involved with that. It's meaningful work, hands-on management, positive work, growth opportunity, and trust in leadership. Quick diagram showing all those core elements there. Look at hands-on management, clear, transparent goals, coaching, positive work environment, culture of recognition. This is all where that communication comes into play, and it's a respect for the diverse and possibly divergent perspectives for the participants. It's such a great model to look at. Examples of language barriers will be present with those clear, transparent goals. But even the flexible work environment, culturally, someone might be having some trouble at home or family matters, and it's cannot work at home, and that communication with management creates that environment. So take that into account. This model clearly shows settings where I wasn't aware. Thank you for telling us. I feel like I'm being listened to, and that's when the improvement really shows. This is the kind of environment and employee engagement where setting the expectation, following up. Did we make it? If not, why not? Can I help? That feedback channel. That's what's engagement, and that engagement is the primary responsibility of managers or leaders within the organization. But ultimately, we're all stakeholders and we're all part of it. Managers are in charge of ensuring that employees know what work needs to be done, supportive and advocating for them when necessary, and explaining how their work connects to organizational success, giving directions and purpose to the team. To succeed in that responsibility, managers need to be equipped with ongoing, meaningful conversation with employees. Great communicators, insight, empathy, key skills that managers need to have, and communication. Some other examples of effective employee engagement: anonymous feedback. A food retailer that operates coffee and food services around the world began soliciting anonymous employee feedback. Through this feedback, the company found that the drive-through window was chronically understaffed, forcing teams to run back and forth between different types of customers with reduced quality when adding the stress and extra work. A store manager implemented a dedicated drive-through role, dramatically improving employee and engagement and productivity. The rest of the company actually got on board and followed suit. We also have surveys. One software executive pulses his team every week and asks the simple question: How happy are you at work this week, and what can we do to make things better? Quite often managers use that data from that survey to predict sales for that week and for the coming week. So it's a really important tool. And we have open feedback where organizations have channels of communication that go up to management, and feedback is listened to and acted upon and handed back to the individual that gave the feedback. What are some of the outcomes for better employee engagement and communication? What would happen if worldwide employee engagement was above 15%? Improvements in safety, identifying skills, learning and improving work processes, lower turnover of staff, resulting in higher skill retention, a sense of belonging. There is some great positive business outcomes from high levels of employee engagement. At a beverage giant, Molson Coors in the United States, highly engaged employees were 5 times less likely than non-engaged employees to have a safety incident and 7 times less likely to have a lost time safety incident. So by strengthening employee engagement, the company saved $1.721 million in safety costs in 1 year. Construction giant Caterpillar in Europe increased employee engagement, which resulted in $8.8 million annual savings from decreased attrition, absenteeism, and overtime in a European plant, and a $2 million increase in profit, plus a 34% increase in highly satisfied customers in a startup plant. So it's in everyone's interest, not just the employee, but also the organization, to engage their employees. So those managers engage their employees to get the better outcome. Thank you for your time today. Please leave a comment in the comment section below with some feedback or some of your experiences you've had with employee engagement and some great communication.